Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook. Lucas Oil Raceway, Indianapolis Raceway Park, IRP. Whatever you call it, it's one of America's premier multi-use race facilities. Constructed in the late 1950s and opened for business in 1960, the facility features a quarter-mile-long drag strip that is home to the NHRA Nationals every Labor Day weekend, a 2.5-mile road course, now closed, where Mario Andretti scored his very first USAC National Championship win, and a 5/8-mile oval that hosted the night before the 500 USAC Midget Race, along with various USAC Midget, Sprint Car, Silver Crown events, and NASCAR Xfinity and Craftsman Truck Series events. Although the NASCAR events have made the move over to the big track, Craftsman Truck Series will return yet again. Tonight, it's race number 3 of the IROC Challenge Series, and it's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Lucas Oil Raceway at IRP for Race 3 of the IROC Challenge Series. Race details for tonight: 150 laps the race distance, 86-degree ambient temperature, 24% humidity, clear skies, a 5-mile-per-hour breeze, and 86-degree track temperature. Drivers have 4 sets of tires over the wall tonight and a full fuel load at 100%. No fast repairs, 3 attempts at a green, white checkered finish if so necessary. With that said, I want to thank Coles County Speedway for jumping on board for the remainder of the season to help out with broadcasts and all the fun things that come along with sponsoring a race series. Certainly appreciate Brian for stepping up and making that happen. With that said, qualifying in the books, practice in the books, warm-up just about complete here from IRP. Kyle Terzak fastest at 21.84. Neil Quick second, Brian McCann. Fourth quick is Mike Cook, and Cole Owens fifth fast. We'll take a look at our starting grid here in just a little bit here as we finish up this session. Our last week, McCann was able to edge out Kyle Terzak and take the race win. Again, Terzak was second. Garrett Johnston finished in the top 3 in the 3rd position. This week, though, here at the relatively short track here at IRP, keep a close eye on the 51 of Kyle Terzak. He's going to be quite the contender here for the race win as we've got one car off turn number 4. No need to worry about backup cars here as we just get fresh new ones right away. Interesting fact about Coles County Speedway It's a little 8th mile dirt track. It's the oldest micro sprint track in the country. I think it's in, I'm probably going to say it wrong here, Mattoon, Illinois, I believe. I'm sure somebody in the chat can correct me on how I'm pronouncing the town, but that's how I read it. Mattoon, Illinois. Probably butchering the heck out of it. Hopefully I'm not, but either way. Just about 10 seconds or so left in the session. Turzak wraps it up. Almost a 10th faster than Neil Quick. McCann is 3rd fast. Not going to finish that lap either. These guys wrecking through turn 3. May wrap things up, indeed it will. So warm-up comes to its conclusion. We'll take a look at the results of that warm-up. We just talked about the top 5 drivers. Well, it's not going to work for whatever reason. So Garrett Johnston confirms that I've got the Mattoon, Illinois pronunciation spot on. I appreciate that, Garrett. So I'll keep saying it that way as we move forward. So, that's a good thing. With that, though, field beginning to grid here at IRP. Let's take a look at our starting grid. On the pole position with a lap time of 21.885. It's the 51 of Kyle Turzak. Outside front row, it's the Charity Motorsports number 15 of Garrett Johnston, last week's 3rd place finisher. Row number 2, Brandon Mefford in the number 83, also a Charity Motorsports entry, flanked by his brother Chris Mefford in the Falcon Motorsports number 46. Row 3, it's Brian McCann and Neil Quick. Man, this is like a laundry list of names we all know from IROC here in the top 6. 7th starter is Casey Bentz, a newcomer this week. Timmy Schofield back again in the number 12. He'll start 8th. Todd Kleek rolls from the 9th position. 10th starter is Mike Cook. 11th goes to Josh Funkhauser. Chris Wally, league admin, will start in the 12th spot. 13th starter will be Matt Kopp. 14th, Steve Durbin. Cole Owens will start 15th. Doug Wysocki, 16th. Dan Pinkston rolls 17th. 18th, Brandon Leclerc. 19th, Zachary Kleek. Larry Bruner, 20th. Rodney Uberbaker, 21st. Lance Riggins, 22nd. 23rd, Adam Benefield. And last but not least, it's the 4 of Nuke Quick, starting 24th in shotgun on the field. It's your starting grid from Lucas Oil Raceway at IRP. Field on the track right now, completing 1 of 2 pace laps before we take the green flag. And race details once again, 150 laps the race distance, 86-degree ambient temp, 24% humidity, clear skies, 5-mile-per-hour breeze, track temp about the same as the air at 87, 4 sets of tires over the wall, and a full fuel load to work with, and no fast repairs. You wreck it, you fix it. Turzak and Johnston off turn 4. We wait for Barney to wave the green flag. He does so, and we're underway in Indianapolis. Turzak slips up the racetrack through 1 and 2, slows the advance at Johnston. Mefford there took a look, but big time run off turn 2. Turzak with 2 truck lengths into 3. Turzak's going to lead lap number 1, and the caution's out already. We got trouble somewhere. Might have been Mike Cook, hard to say. There's some drivers here scattered on the front stretch. Zachary Kleek, Dan Pinkston possibly in this. 22 of Pinkston. Let's take a look, see what happened here. Just a moment ago. Try to get a better look at that here from the blimp. It might give us a better idea. Yeah, just both drivers loose by themselves in unison here. Synchronized spinning off turn number 4 here at IRP to start things off. Like a 9.1 for both drivers involved. Russian judge gives us an 8. So quickly, we're under our first caution. Again, we've talked about this a lot through various racetracks, and early on in that run, especially in these trucks with the newer tire model, you can certainly run into issues until the tire temperatures come up, which in turn brings the air pressure in those tires up. On low pressure, the truck's a little squirrely, a little difficult to handle. So we saw Zachary Cleek and Dan Pinkston demonstrate there off turn 4 on lap 2. Again, want to thank Coles County Speedway for jumping on board, not only tonight, but for at least the next 10 races, counting tonight. Appreciate their participation. So that's going to get us all the way through this first segment of the season, as well as about a third of the way into the next segment. Don't have a graphic yet for you on that. I'll post it up here the next time we're live when I've got it handy. But we got our IRP tonight: Nashville, Pocono, Charlotte, Atlanta, Martinsville, Texas. That's to round out the end of October. And then Michigan, Bristol, Kentucky. Granted, that's going to be in the Xfinity car or the B car. Then we close out the season. Spring of 2025, segment 3 will be Daytona, Chicagoland, Sonoma, Iowa, Kansas, the big track at Indy, Las Vegas, New Hampshire, Gateway, and that'll be in the A car in the Cup Series. Now, I'm not sure if that's the Gen 6 Cup car or if it'll be the Gen 7. Either way, it's going to be a blast. So field working behind the iRacing pace car. Lights still on. Should get the one to go the next time. Got to remind everybody that the stream chat is available and open. Garrett Johnston, of course, the first to jump into the IROC side of the chat. I do have both chats up in front of me on the IROC TV and HBR TV platforms, as we are multi-streaming tonight. So feel free to check in, say hello, who you're cheering for, where you're watching from. Just keep it PG for the kids. So let's try it again. Terzak's going to take top side here. Pace car hits pit lane. Green flag. Green flag in the air. Terzak on the power. Gets a good jump on Garrett Johnston, but Brian McCann's got different thoughts as well. He gets to the outside of Johnston out of turn 2. Johnston slams the door. Might have got the 3 in the fence just a hair. Scraped some paints and decals off the right side of that machine. Now through 3 and 4, it's Terzak, Johnston, McCann, Mefford, 1, 2, 3, 4 in a single file line, and Chris Mefford in 5th. As we do this broadcast, I can't help but think back to the old Thursday Night Thunder days on ESPN, ESPN2, where they'd run anything and everything here at IRP and various other racetracks. Where you saw guys like Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart out here running sprint cars. You mentioned a sprint car around this place. Insanity. I know I'm probably dating myself here, but I'm sure somebody out there remembers it. 10 laps in, Terzak still has it. Johnston has closed the gap, though, within just a couple of feet off the back bumper of that number 51 Chevrolet. Johnston in the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. Johnston with another Chevrolet at his 6 o'clock in Brian McCann. Top two unchanged here, 12 laps in at IRP. Tire pressure's up, tire temperature's up. So far, temper's not. There's a long ways to go for that to happen. Uh-oh, we lost everybody. And we're back. Whoo, that's scary. That's scary. Don't want that to happen again. And ironically, it says I didn't lose any frames, so I really don't know what caused that, but either way, we're back up and running. No harm, no foul. Brandon Mefford there running still in the fourth spot behind Brian McCann. On board with Brian, looking back at the rest of the field, this from the third position. Remember, McCann started fifth and very quickly moved up a couple of positions. Brandon Mefford running his familiar number 83. Zoe's Place Child Advocacy sponsored machine. Chris Mefford in the number 46 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. And some IROC veterans running here at the front of the field. Terzak, a relative newcomer to the series. Dominant the previous season in the late model stock, won just about everything. So I guess you can call him a veteran. He's got a championship under his belt. Garrett Johnston has been around for a little bit as well, but Brian McCann, both the Meffords, Neil Quick, Tim Schofield, those are the names that I remember when I was first introduced to IROC years ago. Still going strong. Chris Wally, of course, same thing. Wally was on a throwback paint scheme with the Oil Raceway color. Another familiar name, Josh Funkhauser, running in the 10th spot. There's more too, folks. These aren't the only ones, just the top 10 so far. Well, out front, Terzak starting to get some breathing room between himself and Garrett Johnston as they're back to start finish. Terzak in one. See the gap from 1 to 2, back to the 15. Johnston, though, he's got company in Brian McCann. Oh, a little wiggle for Johnston on entry to turn 3. It's going to allow McCann to close the gap to within half a truck. Off turn 4. Let's see how he gets out of the corner here. Johnston a little better this time. Tell you though, McCann's really pushing the issue here. Last lap for McCann at 22.64. Johnson was a 22.62. Terzak at the race lead with clean air at 22.60. Very close times. That's not always something you want to see, at least as a race fan on a track like this where it's honestly pretty difficult to pass as it is. But you got three guys out in front that are within 0.02 of a second of each other every lap. It's going to take some creativity and maybe some aggression to make some passes here at IRP tonight. Terzak enjoying the fact that these two are battling it out, just allowing him to get further out in front. Now a full second advantage for the race leader. McCann still right there, just can't quite get alongside. Drives it down to the bottom of the racetrack, though. Off turn 4, and the caution's back out.
Did you happen to get a look at your temps when you're on track, right after that caution bell?
Now, I don't see anything on the track per se, but this very well could be our break. Didn't get a heads up on when it would be, but it would stand to reason this could be our break. Thought it would have been a little closer to halfway, but 25 laps, I guess we'll call it a comp caution. But nevertheless, our second yellow of the evening. It's going to bunch this field back up. Be curious to see if anybody opts to hit pit lane here. Question answered. Looks like everybody and their brother are going to come down and get pit service, whether it's fuel or fuel and tires. Again, 4 sets over the wall. They can be a little greedy with them tonight if they so choose. We'll see who opts to do so and who goes out and saves them. Better to watch than the race leader, Kyle Turzak, into his pit box. Right sides as a minimum. Turzak with a new sponsor this season, Dalton Schrum Photography on board. 4 tires and Sunoco race fuel. Turzak down and away, and imagine that. Look who stayed out. Nuke quick. There's always somebody, and it tends to be a quick, whether it's the 4 or the 2. It's usually one of them. Trying to at least lead some laps. We'll see if Nuke stays out or if he comes down and just gets some pit service after getting that lap led. Still out on the racetrack, though. We'll see what he does. Again, big thanks to Coles County Speedway jumping on board here for 10 races at a minimum to start things off. Helping out the league with broadcasts and the like. And there it is. Nuke's going to come down and pit this time. Have to start from the back. But he got that lap led and some bonus points for it. Do what you got to do. Change things up here at the front of the field a little bit, though. Turzak will retake the race lead. Garrett Johnston will be second. McCann will be third. Brandon and Chris Mefford fourth and fifth. So, truthfully, not much has changed in the top 5 from how we ended the first 25 laps of this race. So we'll cross the line and we'll be 1/5 race distance. And the pace car lights have been extinguished, so that sets us up for the restart. Turzak's going to take the top again. It really just seems like that's going to be the preferred lane. It is the long way around, of course, but it does have a little bit steeper banking. Again, a variable banking racetrack. Progressive banking, as some would call it. Top side's banked a little bit higher, but it's longer around. Bottom is a little bit less banking, but it's a shorter distance, so it kind of evens out. Pace car is in. Barney with the green back in his hand, in the restart zone, and we're back underway. Great pictures here at IRP, courtesy of Whiplash Sim Cams. If you're looking for a camera pack for your broadcast platform, check those guys out. Facebook, Twitter, even on Discord. They're everywhere. Touch base with Andrew, Whiplash Simcams. Chances are he's already got a pack ready to go for you, and he's constantly updating. Does great work. He's got some real-world experience as well, setting up and even being behind the camera at real-world racetracks, so he knows what's going on. Lap 35 on the board. Terzak's led them all to this point. Brandon Mefford now finds himself up into the second spot. Johnston back to third. McCann fourth. Neil Quick fifth. Brandon Mefford moving through the field. Chris Mefford has fallen down one position in P6. Brandon's pushing hard here. He's trying for the race lead. Terzak scrapes the wall off turn 4 just a little bit. Sparks flies, keeps it out in front. Mefford unable to capitalize from that rare mistake off the 51. Mefford burped the throttle just a bit in the middle of 1 and 2. It allows Terzak to get some more distance on the 83, but man, Brandon drives it in deep into turn 3. Top 3 in the frame, Terzak, Mefford, and Johnston. Mefford is quick, though. Last lap for Mefford. 22:41, a hundredth quicker than the race leader. Brian McCann starting to catch this trio, and Mefford goes to the inside. Got along inside the left rear quarter of the 51, unable to stay there, has to follow back in behind, single file. Man, Mefford's right there, though. He seems to have the pace. Just about everybody took tires on this pit stop, except for it looks like Mike Cook. Might have been fuel only. I'm not sure. Maybe that was an additional stop. It does show that he's made 2 pit stops tonight, so that could be the case. Maybe got those tires a little early. Terzak holds the top spot, but not by a wide margin. Brandon Mefford still a tenth and a half off the tailgate of the 51, back into turns 3 and 4 yet again. Still pressuring Kyle Terzak off turn number 4. Can't do anything with him just yet. That last time by, though, Terzak faster by about a half-tenth. Top 4 drivers starting to stretch it out from the rest of the field. Terzak, Mefford, Johnston, McCann. Chris Mefford, the leader of the pack in behind this top 4. Oh, Mefford gets the wall off at turn 4 just slightly. Lost the nose a bit on corner exit. It's going to open the door a little for Johnston. Johnston gets to the back bumper. Doesn't have the drive off out of 2, does the 83. Yeah, we are still relatively early here at IRP, just approaching the 1/3 mark of this race. Terzak's obviously fast, but really so are the 3 contenders that are in behind. Brandon Mefford, Garrett Johnston, Brian McCann, all drivers up in that top 4. Even the top 5 certainly capable of parking their truck in victory lane. Meanwhile, we're watching a battle here for the 6th position between Neil Quick and Tim Schofield. Schofield in the 12 on the bottom of the racetrack. Schofield gets by. I got to think that Neil's likely just taking care of his tires here for a long run. Meanwhile, Casey Bentz shows the 36 on the door. It's actually the 27 in the timing and scoring. So in case that looks confusing, he's not a lap down truck. 36 should actually be the 27, some form or fashion, so that it would match. But again, a new entry this week. They'll get that squared away, I believe, by the next race. He gets by Neil quick as well. Casey Bentz back to the 7th position where he started tonight's race. So we got trouble, the 45 around. Todd Kleek. Caution does not come out. Kleek loses it off turn number 2. Don't know if he had any help. Let's take a look and see. Just a moment ago, got an exit at turn 4. Chris Wally's up the racetrack. He gets into the fence. Kleek goes down the bottom of the racetrack, maybe a little uncomfortable with the 75's just recent off-track excursion, but no, he just comes back up the racetrack. Maybe thought that Wally had slowed considerably. He did not. Tough break for Kleek, though. He's going to get that inside wall. So Kleek's going to have some damage to worry about for sure. Don't know if he stayed out. Yes, he did. Last lap, a 23:48. It's not lightning quick, but I think it's enough to kind of tough it out until you get a chance to fix that thing or maybe get a caution. Well, back out front, top 4 remain. Terzak, Mefford, Johnston, McCann. And they're all right in a line together, though. One mistake from any of these drivers could open the door for the next. Mefford just about 4 inches off the tailgate of the 51 through 3 and 4. Mefford was faster than the leader again the last time. This time by, does it remain the same? No, this time Terzak about 300ths faster than the 83. Just got to wonder how long they can keep this pace up without burning off the tires. They're clearly much faster than the rest of the field, at least right now, but you break that down as to who's pushing harder than the next. You just don't know. Mefford once again trying to get to the inside of the 51. He's down there again. He may need to rough up Terzak to make any forward progress here. Mefford is certainly fast on these short tracks. He's got the talent. He's got a lot of experience behind the wheel of these trucks. Not real sure how much seat time Terzak has in a truck. We know he's lights out in a late model stock. He's been presentable in the truck. Ooh, opens the door a moment there for Mefford. I think Brandon's going to try to get to the outside. If he can get to the outside of the 51, I think that might be his only opportunity to really make and set up this pass. We look through the field here. Adam Benefield in a battle with Rodney Uberbaker. Adam, our biggest mover on the field so far. A little wiggle from the 9. Now back up front here on board with Kyle Terzak, looking back at Brandon Mefford. Meanwhile, battle for third. McCann gets to the inside of Garrett Johnston. Does he have enough to complete that pass? McCann has the advantage down the backstretch into 3. How deep does Garrett drive it? Real deep is the answer. Way up the racetrack. Taking advantage of that extra banking, but McCann tries to slide job it off of 4. Still not quite enough room to close it. And there it is, McCann off turn number 2, finally cleared Johnston. And interestingly enough, impressive enough, they didn't really lose any ground at the top 2 in trying to do that. Meanwhile, I think Todd Cleek might have had an issue yet again. No, we already covered that one. Cleek still running in the lead lap, it appears. Yes, it is. Leaders in some lap traffic, though. Zach Cleek on the inside. McCann goes to the inside. Brandon Mefford. Mefford didn't see him coming. Maybe he did and tried to shut the door. May have been a little bit of contact between the 83 and the 3. Lap time still falling off. The best of the days. Kyle Turzak at 22:04. He's a full second slower than that pace right now. Meanwhile, we watch this battle for second. McCann may have been saving his stuff there for that run because he quickly made work of Garrett Johnston, and now he's alongside Brandon Mefford. Of course, the closer to the front you get, the harder the passes become. But McCann working his way, gets on the throttle, has to lift, back to throttle again. Mefford just inches off the outside wall. McCann keeps it to the inside. Mefford in the 3, trading paint through 3 and 4. Sparks fly, and McCann still not able to get clear. And there he is, into turn 1. Johnston tried to cheat a little and get back to the inside. Maybe take that 3rd spot from Mefford, but now it belongs, the 2nd position that is, to Brian McCann. Meanwhile, Chris Mefford closing in. Now here comes Tim Schofield. See the difference from 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, back to the rest of the field. That gap increasing, almost a full straightaway at this point. But there's your top 5, all in the frame. Now off turn number 4. Turzak, McCann, Mefford, Johnston, and Chris Mefford, the top 5. 67 laps in the books here at IRP. Turzak leads. Still watching the 9 of Adam Benefield. Closing in on Matt Kopp. That'd be another position if he can get it. That would make him +9 on the day so far. McCann putting distance on Mefford now. This all through the lap traffic. This is going to break up that 5-truck draft, so to speak. Turzak enjoying about a 7/10 advantage over the 3. But in some pretty steep traffic here as he reels in the 11 of Cole Owens. Owens up the track. See, if McCann was close enough here, he could almost try to use that to his advantage when Turzak goes to the bottom to try and pass the lap truck. Yes, it's a slower truck, but it also puts the 51 on the low side of the racetrack where it just doesn't want to be. If McCann's close enough to strike, I'd be curious to see how Turzak would handle getting around those lap trucks. Well, McCann now is going to pass the 11 of Owens as well. Brandon Mefford hanging on to that 3rd spot ahead of Garrett Johnston, also working his way through some lap traffic. Meanwhile, Owens in the fence off turn 4. Johnston cuts back in front of the 11 to set up his entry to 1. Chris Mefford has to take a shallow entry to get around the lap truck. Third, fourth, and fifth here in the frame, plus the lap truck of Cole Owens. Johnston applying pressure here. He wants that spot. Garrett was third last week at race M. Would like to equal or even improve that before this one's over. Johnston alongside. This the battle for the third spot. Chris Mefford sneaking into the bottom of the racetrack, though. We're going to go 3 wide here off 4. Somebody's going to have to give. Johnston does. He lifts off turn 4, gets back in behind Brandon Mefford. Chris Mefford is now in striking distance, a truck length off the back bumper of Garrett Johnston. It's kind of what we were seeing earlier, I think, with Brandon Mefford trying to pass Terzak. He had a little bit more pace than Terzak. Well, now I think Garrett Johnston's the one with a little bit more pace, but still nowhere to go with it. Meanwhile, back out front, we got a battle for the race lead. Terzak's got it still. He's led everyone so far. He's clinched the most lead because we're past halfway, but the battle is on for the top spot. Brian McCann running second, trying to take it away from Terzak. We got a truck in the wall just ahead of the leaders. It's the Ford Nuke Quick, just a little gentle brush. And the 45 of Fleet has to turn hard left out of the way of the race leaders as they're back in 1. Roughly 50 laps past our first set of pit stops that happened under the yellow flag. Brian McCann losing a lot of ground last couple of corners. Not sure if he had an issue there trying to get around the 4 of Nuke Quick or Todd Pleak, or maybe both. Hard to say. Mefford hanging on that third spot still. Garrett Johnston just cannot answer that riddle. See what happens here as they close in on some more lap trucks. Again, Nuke Quick and Todd Pleak. Meanwhile, Cole Owens is going to hit pit lane. Curious if this will be the start of our first set of green flag stops. Yeah, and Pleak's holding up these two, not intentionally. I mean, it's short track. Not a lot of places to go. There it is again still. 3rd, 4th, and 5th on the racetrack. The 83, the 15, the 46. Mefford, Johnston, Mefford. Sounds like the law offices of Mefford, Johnston, and Mefford. Brandon takes a look at the inside of Nuke Quick down into turn number 1. Johnston almost seemed a little thrown off by that entry down into turn 1, and I think Mefford kind of made his decision last minute as well, but it really opens up some space between the 83 and the 15. Johnston, however, really closes it back down in 3 and 4, so I've got to think that Brandon might be backing up his entry. But Garrett is still driving it in deep. Terzak still with the lead. 3.5 tenths the advantage over Brian McCann. Now Zach Pleak going down. Johnston gets clear. Chris Mefford almost clear. Long stretch of green flag run. 85 laps in. Another check on Adam Benefield back in the number 9 machine. Still runs 15th, but +8. Man, he's right there on the back bumper of Matt Kopp, though, and he would have possibility of 2 more positions if he can get around both of those guys. He wants to do it quickly here because you see the 51 is closing and closing fast. Benefield does not want to go down a lap here, and he's going to get in the back of Kopp. It's going to spin him out in front of the race leaders. Caution comes out. That was a close call for the 51 of Kyle Terzak. Benefield did not want to go down a lap there, and he was being held up by Matt Kopp. Well, he showed his displeasure. Sent him around. Now, Garrett Johnston made it to pit road. I don't know if he got down there before the flag came out. We will find out if he gets a penalty or otherwise, but if he got in here in just enough time, he might have gotten a free pit stop out of this. Drops the jack down, he goes. He might be okay. Meanwhile, Kyle Terzak going to hit pit road as well as the race leaders. Brian McCann, Brandon Mefford, Chris Mefford, Tim Schofield now in the top 5. Now, after this long, definitely going to see these drivers bolt on 4 fresh tires. I don't think you'll see any kind of gamble on 2 or none until later on, that final stop. There's track position to be gained. We'll find out. Brian McCann, looks like 4 tires, just about everybody up and down pit road. Garrett Johnston, though, he's going to inherit the race lead. It appears that that is the case. Got away with one. Again, it's not cheating. As long as you make the commitment line and you're in pit lane before the yellow flag comes out, you can stop in your pit box and complete your pit work. It's almost impossible to plan that, especially at a short track. At a road course, it's a little easier. Usually, you'll see somebody spin off the track, and then guys will start making decisions like, should we pit now? Should we wait? Are they going to throw a yellow? Are they going to not? If it's close, you'd usually see a lot of guys peel off and hit pit road for their service at that point. If it's close to needing it, and if it's close to throwing a yellow for it, you might as well try it, because when the yellow comes out, if you're able to complete that before the rest of the field gets to the pit lane before it closes, you can kind of snooker everybody. It seems that Garrett Johnston has done just that. And he looks like a genius, but it's just dumb luck. Nothing personal, Garrett. I'm sure you're a very smart fella. So 90 laps in the books here at IRP, working caution number 3. Let's go back and get a look at it. It was just a moment ago. Adam Benefield was chasing the 50 of Matt Kopp, and he had the race leader of Kyle Terzak reeling him in quickly. Benefield got on the throttle and just gets to the back bumper. Evasive action taken by Terzak. Good job picking a lane. I'm going to watch it from Terzak's point of view here at full speed. Again, on board with the 51 of Terzak just a moment ago. Oh, there he goes. That really took a lot of awareness, because the gut instinct there is to take that hard right to go around, but he still had another truck to his outside he was worried about. Managed to get through there without contact. Johnston's the lucky dog here. He's going to take the race lead out of that. And I don't mean the literal lucky dog, I mean the figurative one. See what he does with it. Johnston, fresh tires as everybody else. Green flag back in the air. He gets the jump into turn 1. Terzak, though, to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to have to act quick.
Caution.
And the caution's back out.
Good job, bud. Tell me what you got quickly.
Multiple drivers here. Steve Durbin, 42 machine. 44, Larry Bruner. Looks like Ronnie Uberbaker was in it. Todd Kleek, Matt Kopp. Let's look at this, see what happened. On the restart, okay, so Kleek gets into the 44, which gets him crossed up. The 42 might have been clear, but then he gets clipped by the 17. The 77 comes in, and we got a 5-car pileup in turn 1. Nothing huge as far as impacts are concerned, but a little bit of damage to just about everybody in that one. So from the restart, Johnston was able to maintain the race lead, albeit by just a few feet over Kyle Turzak. But he'll get lane choice again on the restart, which I think he'll take the top side once again. Turzak timed it very well on Johnston. Pay closer attention here on the next restart. I'm curious to see when Johnston fires. In fact, let's go back and look, if we can, see when Garrett took off on the last restart. Yeah, he waited till the end of the restart zone. So I think ultimately that might have been the reason why Turzak was able to match that restart with the 15. Once you get past that restart zone, that blue painted area, it says Geico on the inside of the racetrack, you guys can fire. They can just go. At that point, the starter effectively will start the race. The restart would be on them at that point, on the flag. But once you get to this line, they're going to approach right here. Technically, if you're the race leader, again, you control the restart. You can fire right there. And personally, it's hard to guess it, but that's where I'd fire off this next restart if I'm Garrett Johnston. You got to go as soon as you get to the box, because then Turzak has to react. Now, the closer you get to the end of the box, it's less about reaction and more about well, I guess he's probably going to go right now, so I should probably do it too. Problem is, if you go a little bit too soon, anticipating Johnston to go as soon as he gets to the box, if Johnston doesn't go, then you're forced to check up, because then you're going to beat the leader to the line. That's a no-no. There it is. Pace car lights go out. Folks, we are late for a side-by-side break, so we're going to get that out of the way as soon as we get this restart going. It's the only one we'll do tonight, I promise, as far as the side-by-side goes. Unless we get a brash of more cautions, we won't take any other breaks, but at least that's the plan. Everyone's got one until you get punched in the face. Pace car's in. Johnston going to restart from the top side. Inside line trying to get caught back up and bunched back up. They do a good job of it coming out of 4.
Green flag.
And Johnston does fire a little sooner this time. A little more of an advantage into 1. We'll see if Turzak's got anything for him. Drives it way deep into turns 1 and 2. Johnston's going to carry some momentum out of the corner, but Turzak's loose on exit, slides up the track, makes contact with Johnston, still side by side into turn 3. Back to the line, the battle for the race lead. Turzak and Johnston. Johnston on the outside, still able to hang tough with the 51 of Turzak. But Turzak, is he going to slide job it? No. He was clear for a moment. He probably could have, but they're still side by side. Down the back straightaway yet again. Johnston barrels it into turns 3 and 4, but slides up the racetrack, loses a spot, real loose on exit, saves the car, but Turzak retakes the race lead. And there it is, the caution's out again. Trouble here on the front stretch, it looks. It happened for somebody. Let's try to get a look. I don't know. It doesn't show me who was involved in this one. Usually it will give me an indication. Did we just have some slow movers on the front stretch? Ah, there it is. Timmy Schofield, Chris Wally. Duke Quick comes in, gets a big piece of the 12. Well, it's getting on to crunch time. We're going to take a standard break here. We'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws late model. Visit us at Spartan-Logistics. Back at IRP, green flag in the air. Terzak on the jump. Pulls a car length and a half, truck length and a half into turn number one. Johnston pressure to the outside. It's Chris Mefford battling for the second spot. Still side by side down the backstretch. Terzak's just loving this because he can just drive away as those two battle it out. Johnston and Mefford, Chris that is, to the outside, back to start finish. Still side by side. They continue to fight this fight. Meanwhile, Brian McCann running in fourth, waiting for a mistake out of one or both of these drivers, and they make some contact off turn number two. Slides Johnston up the racetrack. No contact with the wall, but it actually switches things up. It gives Johnston a preferred line. He wants the outside. Now back single file, second, third, fourth. Terzak enjoying a healthy lead here, about a half second now to Garrett Johnston. Remember, Garrett was the third place finisher last week as Chris Wally's around off turn two. Yellow comes out yet again.
Just real quick and then tell me what you got.
Chris Wally not having the night that he had hoped for. Was strong last week, but just been in trouble here a couple times this evening. Again, off the nose of the 12. These two have had to dust up twice now. Just a simple spin puts the 75 to the bottom of the racetrack, but enough to throw the yellow flag. Interestingly enough, some drivers hitting pit lane here. Brian McCann, Tim Schofield, Adam Benefield, Uber Picker, Nuke Quick, Chris Wally, of course, involved, but I think these guys might know that they're in a position, hey, I can go to the end here on fuel. I'm going to take a set of tires. This might be an opportunity for McCann and others. Pick up some more positions. In Brian's case, possibly the race lead. And Brian, the race winner last week out at Auto Club. I know I've mentioned it a lot tonight, but thanks again to Coles County Speedway jumping on board the IROC Challenge Series for at least the next 9 races after tonight. They'll put us a third of the way into the second segment of this season. And Coles County Speedway out in Mattoon, Illinois. 8th mile dirt track. Oldest micro sprint track in the country. So this is going to cycle some guys around here as far as running order is concerned. Terzak's still going to be out front. Garrett Johnston second. Chris Mefford third. Brandon Mefford fourth. Neil Quick runs fifth. Josh Funkhauser sixth. Doug Wysocki seventh. LeClaire eighth. Bentz ninth. Mike Cook 10th. Brian McCann with new tires. He'll be restarting in the 11th spot. And it looks like McCann is the first driver on the freshest set of tires. Mike Cook made a pit stop at 103 for tires. We haven't run a lot of green since then, so they'll be on relatively equal footing. McCann with a slight advantage as far as tires are concerned. But the top 9 drivers made their last pit stop about lap 87. Pace car lights are out. Let's work out of turn number 2 here. Next time across start finish, we'll be racing yet again. It'll be lap 115 as they take the green flag. Pace car makes the quick left into 3 down the pit lane. Terzak backing up Brandon Mefford just a bit. Chris Mefford just kind of trying to jump things a bit.
Green flag.
And there it is, green flag back in the air. Terzak with another great jump. Quick on the throttle, not afraid to just hammer that gas. Johnston gets clear of Brandon Mefford into 1 and 2, but Mefford going to battle back around the outside. He's there, right there, gets him into the fence. Sparks fly off the 83. Now Chris Mefford to the inside of his brother for the 3rd spot, and the caution's out again. Big wreck here off, looks like turn number 2.
Difficult official this week, so make sure we're minding our P's and Q's.
Mike Cook and others, the 21 of LeClaire. Let's take a look. Oh, they stacked up on the backstretch. Let's go a little further back here. Looks like it may have started in front of this line. The 34, Doug Wysocki. Looks like he gets a right hook, whether it's intentional or otherwise. I'm trying to get a right camera here. There we go. So the 34, the black and green of Doug Wysocki, coming up the racetrack. Right now he's clear, but the 21 of LeClaire is going to have more of a run. He's trying to fill that gap and just clips the right rear of the 34, smacks the right front of Wysocki's truck in the fence, and then it's just chain reaction after that. Everybody stacks up in behind. Multiple trucks, and of course, Chris Wally gets caught in this one again as well. This is his third or fourth incident he's been stuck in. For sure, the third one involving the 12. This time, I don't think they took each other out there, but... Well, you've heard it a million times. Cautions breed cautions, and unfortunately, I think that's what we're dealing with right now. Everybody's packed up nice and tight. We're also getting close to the end of this thing, so drivers are really starting to push the issue. Not willing to give an inch of space. Laps winding down here at IRP. Just keep in mind, folks, we do have both chats open to all the viewers out there. HBR TV and IROC TV, both platforms on YouTube live right now. Feel free to check in, say hello. Tell us who you're cheering for, where you're watching from. We're going to get the green the next time by. It'll be 30 laps to go if they take the green flag. Pace car hits pit road. Waiting on Terzak to fire.
Green.
As soon as he's in the box, he goes. Battle for second still. Johnston now. Chris Mefford around the outside. That's the place you want to make those passes. He gets clear into turn 3, drives it deep, pulls within half a car length, and the caution's back out. Mike Cook involved in this one. Let's take a look. Cook loose off turn number 2. Don't know if he had any help. We'll back it up and take a look. Try to go 3 wide. Just gets it down below that yellow line just enough. Truck rotates far more than he bargained for, and round he goes. Minimal incident, but enough to throw the yellow. So 8th caution of the night, lap 122, about to be 123. Brian McCann has quietly worked himself back into the 7th position. And that through these caution laps, just picking up 1, picking up 2 here and there on the restarts, I would imagine. Race leaders have yet to come down and make that final pit stop. McCann with fresh tires and really hasn't had an opportunity to really get them too hot or rip them up too bad. But if we keep throwing cautions like this, I don't know if Terzak, Mefford, Johnston, and the like are going to have to pit. They might end up being able to stretch the fuel to the end. So it looks like on the restart it'll be Turzak and Chris Mefford, then Johnston and Brandon Mefford in row 2. Row 3 will be Quick and Funkhauser. Expect it to be 1 to go the next time. 25 laps remain. 24 to go on the restart, I believe. Unless they throw it all out the window and we go another lap. Mike Cook, Chris Wally, and Nuke Quick leaving pit lane. And there we go. 25 to go, so next time by, green flag, 24 laps to go. Base car is in. Field starting to form up. Johnston hanging back a bit. Gotta get him tightened up on the 46. You saw what we talked about. The 46 of Mefford tried to time it and go at the same time as Turzak as soon as they got to the box, but he had to lift because Turzak didn't bite. Off turn 2, Turzak with the lead. The Mefford's battle for second. Chris and Brandon. Brandon on the outside. Chris down low in the 46. Slides up the racetrack. They make contact in the middle of 3 and 4. Johnston's watching this. Mefford really lose Brandon, that is. He's going to lose the third spot to Garrett Johnston. Chris Mefford, Johnston second and third. Now in the battle for fourth. Brandon Mefford under fire from Neil Quick. Here comes Brian McCann with his fresh tires. Finally getting an opportunity to use them. To the inside of the 2 into turn 3, not enough. Funkhauser now, he's going to battle the outside of McCann for the spot as well. Funkhauser, however, made his pit stop at lap 87. Now we're 3 wide into turn number 1. Neil Quick tries it in deep, crosses up the racetrack, a crossover from McCann to take the position back from Quick. Contact Quick and Funkhauser and Brian McCann into 3. Big battle on the racetrack. Real loose into turn 3. Neil Quick goes around in the wall. 22 to go, and the caution does come out. Ninth caution of the night. We saw a hellacious battle between Quick, Funkhauser, and Brian McCann. Neil's not going to be happy, but let's see if we can get a straight angle on this and see exactly how it really started. See, he's already in the wall when this comes out. Back it up. Yeah, so Funkhauser looks like he gets the outside wall on exit at 2 and a little bit of the backstretch. Lifts, tries to turn in. And before they even make contact, looks like Quick's loose on entry. Really drove it in deep. And Neil was doing a great job of trying to hang on to it for a little while, but unfortunately gets a piece of the wall. Don't think he collected anybody else in this, but that's going to significantly hurt his chances here tonight. So Neil's going to come to pit lane here. I don't know if he's just going to call it a race or if he's going to try and fix this thing and get back out there. He's going to bolt on some tires here. It's going to feel like Superman with the remaining laps. And we got that S4 guy, Zach Millett, in the HBR TV chat. Says, hell of a job by Neil staying off the 81. It was a great job in doing so, but I think, unfortunately, he may have sacrificed himself in that. I think if he got into the 81, yeah, it would have put the 81 in the fence, but I think both drivers would have been able to drive away from that without the yellow coming out. It's hard to say. I mean, you don't want to wreck a guy, but... So 18 to go. Terzak leads over Chris Mefford, Garrett Johnston, Brandon Mefford, Brian McCann. Again, remind you guys, McCann made a pit stop for tires at lap 110. It's about 22 and a half laps to go, but we've probably run half of those or more under caution. Top four drivers made their pit stops at 87, 87, 86 for Garrett Johnston, and 87 for Brandon Mefford. Remember, Johnston was able to get to pit road, and then the caution came out. So he got that free pit stop early on. That's why his pit was a lap sooner. The top three drivers on older tires by comparison. Now, there was over a second of fall off from new to old in that long run that we had from lap, I think, 27 on. Second row there, still quite a ways back. They got to get tightened up. I know they're trying to roll that start a little bit. $16 to go, and we take the green flag. It'll be Terzak up top with the lead. He's in control, into the box, and he fires midway through. Decent reaction from Chris Mefford, but not quite enough. And he slams the door into turn one, slides up the racetrack. Chris Mefford drives in deep, little bit of contact, the left rear of the 51. But they get away clean. Terzak's clear with the race lead. Brandon Mefford second. Sorry, Chris Mefford second. A little bit of a bump coming from the 46. Back to start finish, 15 to go. Terzak, Mefford, Johnston, Mefford. They battle side by side. Garrett Johnston alongside the 83. Brian McCann trying to find a way around two, but nowhere to push it.
Caution.
And the caution's out again. Looks like Newt Quick involved in this one. Yes, the 4 around off turn 2. See what happened here. The Black Monster Energy number 4 on the bottom of the racetrack was battling with, looks like, Leclerc in the 21. Oh, Leclerc just gets loose, middle of the corner. I think he was trying to turn down to give the 85 some space, but it ended up getting him loose. Both Cleek drivers involved in this as they get collected, more so for the 45. This is just cautions breeding cautions and increased aggression levels. These guys went 51 laps, I believe, under the green flag earlier on. Since about halfway, things have gotten a little chaotic here at IRP. So again, we're going to have a restart here with Terzak and Chris Mefford, and Chris has shown a propensity to push the issue on these restarts. It's really your best opportunity to get that position Terzak's been quick. The more and more restarts that we get, the more and more opportunity Chris Mefford gets to watch what Terzak is doing and learn. When is he going in the box? Is he predominantly going as soon as he gets there? Or is he going in the middle? Is he waiting to the end? I really don't expect him to go to the end, just because you're kind of opening up the opportunity for the guy behind you to fire, because you can time it a whole lot better at the end of the box than you can at the beginning. You know, we've already seen Chris try to time it. He fired a little bit early by comparison, so he had to check up and let Terzak go back to the line first. But if he can nail this on the restart, guess right, might have a chance to clear the 51 on the exit of turn 2 if he can get there and stay alongside. It's gonna be a dogfight, as Knaus would say. Still, the older tires at the front of the field. Ryan McCann hasn't been able to do anything with his, but we really haven't had a long enough stretch of green flag to see it come to his benefit.
Green flag.
And there it is, green back in the air. Terzak gets the jump again. Slow start by Chris Mefford. Don't know if he had to check up with the guesswork. Out of 2, it's Terzak, Mefford, and Mefford battle for the 4th spot. Garrett Johnston and Brian McCann. McCann to the inside, and Terzak up in the fence. Chris Mefford right alongside Kyle Terzak as they come to this stripe, and they all three wreck at the start-finish line. Chris Mefford in the fence. Brandon Mefford was to the outside of Terzak. Now Terzak continues his wreck in the middle of 1 and 2.
Limit on racing or something, you know?
Man, oh man. Caution number 11, and this time it's with the top 3 drivers. Terzak looks hot. I don't think he realized they were 3 wide. That could have a lot to do with it. We'll see. Go back and look at it here in just a moment. All right, so let's see how this shapes up. We'll go back a little further here because there was some contact between Terzak and Chris Mefford prior to the main incident here. So you see the 46, he gets down, big time run, just drives it deep, but he gets into the back of the 51. That's what upsets that truck, and it's going to put him in the fence here, it looks. Indeed it is. So that's going to break the momentum of Terzak. Gets Chris Mefford to the inside. And he's fighting, but it opens the door for Brandon Mefford on the bottom. So now here's 1, 2, and 3, all side by side off of 4. Chris tries to come up knowing he's got his brother to the inside. Makes contact with Terzak. And I don't know if Terzak turned hard left or if that was from the contact of the 46. Hard to say without being in the truck, but they make some contact, but then Terzak from the flat comes up the racetrack. He gets into Garrett Johnston. Does Johnston spin this out too? Or does he save it? Looks like Garrett Johnston drives off. What a save for the 15. I want to see that. In real time. Look like a non-wing sprint car out there. So we've got 5 laps to go on the board. Remember, if we run into an issue, we have 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. And the way this last half of this race is going, I'd be willing to bet we're going to use at least one of them. Terzak's going to restart here, I think, in about the 13th spot. He still hasn't come to pit lane, which kind of surprises me. It does, but it doesn't. It's only, I think, 17 trucks in the lead lap, so he wouldn't lose a ton of track position, but he would have some new tires. But, again, we've only got 4 to go right now. Pace car lights are still on, so this might even send us to our first attempt at a green-white checkered finish. We'll see. If they go out this time, we may actually have a natural green-white checkered out of this. We'll see how this plays out, which would not count towards our allotment. It's like bonus overtime. It's a little redundant, but I guess we'll take it. So, across the stripe here, pace car lights are off, so we will get the green flag with 2 laps to go. So our first attempt at a green-white checkered finish won't even count towards our 3 green-white checkered finishes. So let's see how this one plays out. Do they get it done in the first attempt, which is unofficial? It's a natural GWC. Pace car is in. Johnston in control with the outside line. So fire as soon as he gets to the box. That's what I would do.
Green flag.
Yes, he does. Good start. Good restart for Garrett Johnston. Slow restart for Brian McCann. Brandon Mefford goes to the inside. Looks like Mefford tried to time that perfectly, and he might have done just that. Gets to the inside. Has to check up, though. Maybe a little contact with Mefford and McCann. Johnston holds the race lead now through 3 and 4. Looking for the white flag. Side by side for third. Funkhauser and Brandon Mefford off turn 4. White flag in the air. Final lap. We're going to finish it in regulation. Johnston with the race lead, about a truck's length ahead of Brian McCann. McCann closes the gap on the exit of turn 2. Drag race down the back straightaway, just a few feet off the back bumper. McCann goes to the high side, takes the top side. McCann doesn't have enough momentum. Johnston's going to win it. Garrett Johnston takes the checkered flag in a thrilling finish here at IRP. Terzak's going to headhunt here, it looks like. Keep an eye on this. Tim Schofield trying to stop it, I guess. Can't imagine Terzak's looking for Garrett Johnston. I don't think he was a part of that. Just a little love tap. All right, well, that's okay. Terzak's just saying hi. I was hoping for some drama. It didn't happen, though. Well, Garrett Johnston going to celebrate here at the start-finish line. We talked to him last week. He finished third at Auto Club. Didn't know what he had for IRP, but come to find out, it's a race win. With that, we'll step aside here, get our brakes out of the way, and we will be back with our top 3 after this. Stay with us.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook. Back at IRP, race 3 of the IROC Challenge Series in the books, and Garrett Johnston goes from a third-place finish last week at Auto Club to victory lane here this week at IRP. Let's get a word with the driver of the number 15 machine, Garrett Johnston, our race winner. You got a copy?
Hey, yes, sir, I do.
Garrett, congratulations. We talked last week about coming into here at IRP. You didn't seem super confident out about it, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm wrong, but you had a strong truck here tonight, right up there in the top 3 all evening long. I know you got real lucky with almost a free pit stop during that almost caution period that turned into a caution. I don't know how much of a benefit it really was after the fact, but you battled back, kept your nose to the grindstone, and end up taking this race win. Walk us through it. How did you get to the front and eventually hold off a hard-charging Brian McCann on fresh tires?
Yeah, no, it was the epitome of luck for sure with that pit stop. It's almost like I planned it, but had tons of bad luck, especially at this track in the past. So it's nice to get some that goes our way. But after that, I feel like that kind of just helped me stay out front rather than taking a pit stop into the factor and everything that could come along with that. And after that, it was mainly just staying out of trouble. I kind of got lucky again and avoided the big one, so to speak, there at the end. With all those guys battling up front, and then that last restart, I got probably my best restart of the night, and probably only good restart of the night, and held on for 2 laps, and I think that's all I probably could have held on for.
We talked about those restarts a lot tonight. Obviously, we had a bunch of them to discuss, but one time we watched you with the race leader on the outside, and you waited till the very end of the restart zone to fire, which our opinion was it really gave Terzak the advantage because he could kind of say, all right, well, we're at the end of the zone. We're just going to fire right now because you kind of have to at that point. Then later on, this last restart, you fired immediately as soon as you got to the box. What's the thought process in changing when you decided to go?
Yeah, you never try to be too predictable, and I saw he was when he was leading, he was tending to go towards the front end of it, so figured I'd do the opposite, and I think you hit the nail right on the head. It ended up not working out, but we got away with it and stayed up front, and it kind of went our way in the end, and it was a learning lesson with no repercussions.
Well, it worked out. You take the checkered flag, the race win here at IRP. We look forward to Nashville Super Speedway next week. Certainly a big change from this place to that. What's your mindset? What's your thought process coming into that race next week? Any strategies at play, or just trying to get acclimated with the racing surface being concrete?
No, I'm going to do what I always do, and that's I'm just going to fly by the seat of my pants and hope for the best. And hey, tonight is proof that it sometimes works out. So we're going to keep that same mindset and just hope we can pull another rabbit out of the hat.
A couple of solid finishes here at Auto Club, and then the race win here tonight. Looking forward to next week. Garrett, congratulations. Who do you want to thank?
Yeah, thank you for doing this every weekend. I always enjoy listening and watching afterwards, and I know everyone else does as well. Thanks to Wally for putting the league on. Thanks to all the guys I race with Charity Motorsports. They all support great causes. Be sure to check out the charity race later in the year, and we will see you guys next week.
All right, Garrett, congratulations once again. Good luck next week in Nashville.
All right, thanks, sir.
Garrett Johnston, your race winner here at IRP. Next, we're going to talk to runner-up Brian McCann. Put it in the winner's circle last week and a second place finish this week. Brian, it's Steve in the booth. You got me?
I do.
Brian, congrats, man. A runner-up finish here at IRP tonight. You had those fresh tires that I think it might have been a bit of a gamble in your head when you came down at about lap 110, bolted those 4 fresh Goodyears on. But unfortunately, I don't think you or anybody could have foreseen that many cautions after the fact. Was that really the difference maker, not being able to fully utilize those fresh tires, or was it just the fact this place is so hard to pass?
Oh, definitely. There was a big tire difference. So if we didn't have all the yellows there, I would have been out front, I felt like. So that was really hurt me. You know, caution come out, we only get to run like half a lap, so I wasn't really able to make a position or two for that half a lap. But the reason why I went to get tires in the first place, I was third or fourth, whatever, but it's so hard to pass when the tires are equal. I was like, well, I got to do something. So I went in the pits and tried to gamble a little bit.
Well, it was an impressive gamble. We just unfortunately are not able to see that bear any real fruit tonight. You still finished second, but yeah, I think if it stayed green the whole way, I think we might have seen you in victory lane. It would have been fun to watch at least.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool track, and having not really many lanes to run, you had to kind of get a little creative, and you know, we saw some bumping and hitting there, so I got really interested in. I think that was an overall pretty good race.
Tempers flared for sure. It was a fun one to watch. We look forward to next week as well out at Nashville Super Speedway. Once again, we go to a very different racetrack by comparison to where we are leaving. What's your thoughts about next week and maybe parking this thing in victory lane once again?
Oh, we're definitely going for it. Just have to see what happens. I think I've done some Nashville racing here recently, so I'm feeling pretty good about it. These trucks are a blast to drive. It's been about a year since I've driven them, but it seems like they've had some pretty good updates to them.
Well, it's been fun to watch so far. Already a few races into this season. Looking forward to more. Brian, again, congrats on the second place. Who do you want to thank?
My family, Wally for putting on the league, sponsors for helping us out, for you doing the broadcast, everybody watching tonight, drivers for showing up. Good turnout tonight. Thank you. Have a good one.
Brian McCann, your second place finisher here at IRP. He's got the same speech every week. Nails it every time. With that said, last but not least, we'll go to our third place finisher, Brandon Mefford. Get a word with him, pull him up in the booth. Brandon, it's Steve with HBR TV. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you, Steve.
Brandon, congratulations. A third place finish here at IRP. You had a fast truck. We saw you in practice. You had a solid qualifying run, put it on the second row. A challenger all night long. We watched you beating off the back bumper of the 51 here, trying to get around him for a long time. Just this place is so tough to pass. What is the key to getting around here?
Well, you got to save your tires first and not burn the right rear or the right front off. You actually wear it out a little faster than the right rear. So if you can get in the corner and let the truck roll, and as soon as it rotates, get it turned down to the bottom and drive off the corner, that's where you're fast.
Last caution of the race. I want to go back to that and talk a little bit. You were to the inside of your brother and Kyle Terzak, 3 wide off of turn number 4 after some contact with the 46 and the 51. What was it from your perspective as you were on the inside and then everybody kind of came together there at start finish?
Yeah, it looked like Chris got in there and was going to run the bottom, and I think Kyle didn't take the high line like I think Chris thought he was going to. So Chris was really rolling that bottom pretty hard. On them restarts, the bottom was pretty darn good, but got in there and got Kyle sideways, and looked like Chris checked up. It let me to get to the bottom, and I was like, well, this is going to be fun for the broadcast. I'm going to run it down here 3 wide into 1 and see what happens. And I don't know what happened after that. Next thing you know, Chris was coming down into me, and I see Kyle spinning to the inside, and I just hit the brakes to try to save my truck, and luckily I did and ended up third there.
Short track chaos for sure here at IRP, and you're absolutely right. It was a blast for the broadcast. Sure, some hurt feelings there from behind you, but you end up in the third position. a solid run. I mean, you can't complain too much about it. The top 3 finish is a plus no matter where you go, but can we improve it going to next week? Nashville Super Speedway, a much faster racetrack, obviously a little more banking to work with, but different strategies abound as well. What's your game plan rolling into Nashville next week?
Well, my first game plan is going to be ahead of Brian, because that's one of the places that's technical, but you got to keep your momentum up. He's really, really good at that. So if we can get ahead of Brian, I think he might have some trouble getting by us, but going to have to save your tires there too. You can wear them out real easy, especially getting off into one, but it's one of the racetracks I really like. So hopefully we can go make some noise and pick up a win or two here.
Well, you're certainly capable of it. Just got to have everything fall into place perfectly. And I think at some point before this big season is over with, we'll see you park that thing in victory lane. With that said, I know you've got some people that you want to thank, so let's definitely hear that. But first and foremost, I know you got a charity race coming up here relatively soon. Is there any details you feel like letting us know about ahead of time?
To be honest, Steve, we're probably going to have to push the charity race back. Life's been pretty busy for those of us that help put it on, and we really haven't had a chance to sit down and iron some things out. So I think we're going to push it back unless we can hurry up and put something together. But as soon as we get the details, we'll definitely give them out to you so you can share them with all your leagues and all the people that you know, and hopefully put on a pretty good race for those guys. But I thought about canceling it, but man, it's just been too good a race, and we've done so much for those 2 charities that I'd really hate to do that. So we'll get together here soon and figure out exactly what we're going to do with it.
Well, certainly keep us posted, Brandon. Who else do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, I got to shout out to Kyle and Brian and everybody that raced up front. Garrett had a good run, so great job to those guys. My brother's always good here, so it's good to see him get back on the sim and come out here and be battling for a win. So thanks to everybody who put on a great show. Made the broadcast fun, I'm sure. But special thanks to Wally. He's been super busy here lately with working and moving and all that good stuff. So the fact that we've even got a race to do on Monday nights is incredible, and can't thank him enough for everything that he does for this league and all of us. Gives us a home to race. So really thankful for that. And then everybody back at Charity Motorsports, Zoe's Place, everybody that helps put this thing on. Brian Rick. Probably didn't want his name out there, but he helps us keep this thing going too. So special thanks to him, and then shout out to you for doing the broadcast and giving us all something to cheer on and find out what we did wrong later on in the week when we're watching it.
There you go, Brandon. Congrats on 3rd place, man. Good luck next week.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate you.
Brandon Mefford, your 3rd place finisher here at IRP. A thrilling race here tonight. Got a little chaotic there at the end, as sometimes these short tracks tend to do, but I guess we'll just look forward to Nashville Super Speedway next week and go on from there. Let's take a look at our official race results. Hopefully they populate properly this time, and of course they're not going to. Tried a couple more times. There we go. Garrett Johnson, of course, we talked to him already. Brian McCann, Brandon Mefford, your top 3. Josh Funkhauser was 4th. Timmy Schofield 5th. Steve Durbin, a solid run in P6. Doug Wysocki was 7th. Adam Benefield was 8th. Casey Bentz finishes the 9th spot. Tough night for Kyle Turzak. Dominant truck, pole position, led the most laps. I think he's got the fastest lap too. I'd have to go back and double check. But man, that late race incident with him and both Meffords at the start-finish line. It is what it is. Sometimes certainly some guys that are unhappy about it, but either way, a strong run for Turzak. Certainly can't look over that. He'll be right up there in contention next week at Nashville as well, but 10th place here at IRP tonight. Matt Kopp was 11th. Mike Cook was 12th. Neil Quick 13th. Zachary Cleek was 14th. Larry Bruner came home in the 15th position. 16th place was Chris Wally. 17th, Nuke Quick. Rodney Uberbaker was 18th. 19th was Brandon Leclerc. Chris Mefford 20th. 21st, Todd Cleek. Cole Owens was 22nd. Dan Pinkston, 23rd. 149 laps down. He was out of this one early after a first lap incident. And then Lance Riggs, 24th place finisher. I don't know that he even took the green here tonight. Might have just been here as a watcher or maybe an admin, but nevertheless classified in the 24th position here tonight at IRP. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Of course, Garrett Johnston jumping in early in the chat on the IROC side. Raymond Turzak says, thank you, brother. I'm assuming he meant the broadcast. I don't know. Either way, what's going on, Ray? And of course, that S4 guy, Zach Millen, over on the HBR TV chat. Rather quiet night for the chat this evening, but let's try and boost that up. We'll try and get more names in the chat next week. Nashville Super Speedway. Either way, I thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you for chatting and saying hello. If you guys haven't already done so and you like tonight's race, please click that thumbs up. That like really does make a difference, not only for us, but the leagues as well. Pushes the video out to some fresh eyeballs, some wider audiences, so to speak. Also, subscribe if you haven't already and turn on the notifications so that, well, you get a notification when we post a video or go live. If you didn't like tonight's broadcast, the broadcast, not the result, you can certainly go ahead and click the thumbs down. We won't object to that. Your opinion matters. It is what it is. But it certainly helps us improve if there's something that you didn't like. Even make a comment after the fact. That's a good thing, too. With that said, our channel name, youtube.com/@HBRTV and the number 1. That's where you can find all the live broadcasts here. IROC every Monday, Tuesday, the Numb Thumbs Racing Leagues. Wednesday, we have the Spark Truck Series. Thursday, the Lone Star Racing Truck Series Season 4. We're going to be at Watkins Glen this week, so that should be a fun one. 45 laps the race distance there. But things are getting busy here at HBR TV. Certainly more racing to come. Certainly appreciate you guys being here. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Congratulations to Garrett Johnston. We'll see you guys next week out at Nashville.
You understand, closing up to the edge. No story to spin, set to enter the stage. You think you know, oh, time to roll. You